Good morning, third grade. Today's Bible lesson will be on the Great Commission. Our focus this week is giving. Matthew 10, verse 42 says, "And if anyone even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones who is my disciple, truly I tell you, that person will certainly lose their reward." Jesus explained that a small contribution matters in God's eyes, such as a cup of cold water given to someone who is working to share the gospel. Matthew chapter 18, verse 14 says, "In the same way, your Father in heaven is not willing that any of these little ones should perish." Right before these words, Jesus told a story of how valuable one lost sheep is. This verse shows Jesus' compassion and desire that everyone hear the gospel and accept him as Savior. When compassion motivates believers, they will be ready to pray for and work in God's harvest. Many notable missionaries lived during the 1800s, such as William Carey, Adoniram Judson, David Livingstone, and Mary Seltzer, J. Hudson Taylor, and Amy Carmichael. Compassion for people who did not yet know Jesus motivated these missionaries to give their time and talents, possessions, and money. I will now be reading a portion of the biography of Ida Schroeder. An amazing missionary of the 1800s was someone who did not want to be a missionary at all. Born into a medical missionary family in India, Ida Schroeder had no desire to be a missionary. She had her own dreams to follow. These dreams changed one dramatic night. An Indian man came to beg Ida to deliver his wife's baby. She had no training. Her father, the doctor, offered to go, but the man refused to allow a male doctor to help his wife. In India at that time, male doctors could only help other men. 2 more husbands came with the same request. Sadly, all 3 women and their babies died that night because no female doctor was available. Ida's compassion for the women of India led her to go to the United States and train to be a doctor. 1 week before Ida traveled back to India, she began her career as a doctor. She was asked to raise money to build a women's hospital in India. This huge amount of money seemed impossible, but Ida knew God could provide. Amazingly, she talked with a man who gave her $10,000 after he heard of Ida's compassion to help women. For over 50 years, Ida devoted her life to physically and spiritually meet the needs of those around her. She treated patients and taught a Bible study, established a hospital and a nursing college, and opened an orphanage. God used Ida to bring his compassion and love to the people of India. 42 members of Ida's family also followed God's call and became missionaries to India and other countries. Ida gave her time and talents, but she also needed others to give money to build the hospital for women. Students, I'd now like you to turn to your glossary and find the definition for fund, F-U-N-D. You will see that the meaning is to provide money for something. From this story, we learned that each believer can give something to help complete the Great Commission. We all have a part in God's great plan. Now it's time for our chapter review. Question 1. What can people give to help others learn about Jesus? Pause and take a moment to think about your answer. You're right. Time, talents, possessions, and money are all ways people can help others learn about Jesus. Question 2. Why do you think Ida Schroeder changed her mind and became a missionary? Take a moment to think about your answer. You're right. She learned that 3 women and their babies had died because there was no female doctor to help them. Question 3. How did Ida Schroeder show Jesus' compassion to others? Take a moment to think about your answer. You're right. She became a doctor and started a hospital and an orphanage, and she even led Bible study. These are all ways Ida showed compassion to others. Remember, you are all part of God's plan, and you can show compassion and help spread the Great Commission.